What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to bring you guys a guide on Ethereal realm, mainly in regard to all of the resources in there and how you can obtain them, but also the basic gameplay mechanic that you have to understand to really get all of those resources. The game sadly doesn't do a very great job at explaining all of this, so here am I to fix that really, and with the hope, of course, that the age at one point includes some more tutorials to better let people engage with it, because I saw a lot of people on Discord, in the comments, everywhere, being a little bit confused, and especially on how to get those advanced resources you see up here. By the way, still slowly progressing in obtaining Icebound Heart, but we're going to get there and going to hopefully get to Sanctuary Tower level 4 soon. You can be way further if you engage with this game mode a lot, but in my opinion, and maybe a slow one point of criticism here, this game mode really lacks this factor of the loot at the horizon, the thing you work towards, the reason you engage with it. Because when it starts, you really don't see any loot for multiple days, nothing that you can really take away, bring back to the main game, I would say, and put on your heroes and make them stronger. So that is really a bit of a problem here. But beyond that, let's talk about resources. First resource, one that you might not even have thought about it, Energy Source Cube, is this resource you see right here. This is not used for a whole lot. It is basically just used for the soldiers that you can build down here. Those are little support units that you can add to your exploration teams. And they will basically provide you with different buffs. It's not the topic of this video. They are not super effective, but they can be helpful. And the refinery and the energy source cubes, they are basically free. And you obtain a ton of them. So building them, there is no harm to it. You sometimes need them for other stuff too. I believe some of the upgrades include them as well. But I never really lack them. And if you have your 2 refineries there and later on even 2 more, I think you will never have any problem obtaining them at all. Then we have basic resources, 4 of them really. And for that, to really engage with those, we have to go into the expedition. The expedition, we have 2 ways of going there. The first one is this button down here. The second one is this building. And this building is fairly important because this building not only allows us to enter different maps. You can see I'm on map level 5 here. When you first go into this game mode, you will have a map called Initial Tableland, which is the first map you can engage with. And later on, you will see there are different tablelands and there are different expanse game modes as well that you can go into, and Star Language World is another story by itself. Very important in general for this game mode, you really want to upgrade all of your buildings as far as you can. Usually you will be gate capped a little bit by your main building and will have to obtain a bunch of resources for that. But as soon as you can upgrade, for example, the command post, you should do so. Just check if it's possible by clicking the upgrade button. You will see not enough of those devices, and when I go to build those devices, you will see later where this is possible. I actually need Sanctuary for this level 5, so I'm still a bit off, but upgrading the command post actually grants you the ability to use multiple teams, and it's definitely better to have more teams than less, quite helpful indeed. And so that is something you definitely want to work towards. So starting off with the maps though, the maps always contain a selection of basic resources and a selection of advanced resources. The basic resources right here, we can see them. We have 2 of them. We have the Jade Fruit, we have the Dark Iron in here, and then we have Pure Barrel as advanced resource and the Mysterious Skeleton, and then it displays a bunch of resources from the game that are not always included here. So just because you see DT maps doesn't mean they are in this map. This map particularly won't include any DT maps. So we have 2 basic resources, 2 advanced resources, and that is the same for really all maps. The thing is, there are different kind of maps. So you can see while those include those resources, we, for example, also have Permafrost Mountains. Permafrost Mountains include Dark Iron, Pure Snowflake that we didn't have before, and then a Mysterious Skeleton, and there we have Icebound Heart. So it's a bit random, it is a bit depending on the map which resources are located, but you can like store those maps later on to have access to all of the resources. Let's look at this example map that I've prepared right here, the Moor Mountains, that I got 3 times in a row for whatever reason. Once we enter this map, we can see our starting position. We can see there isn't too much fog on my maps, and this has a reason. I built lighthouses, and I usually do that to unlock the map just so that I can see most of the stuff and can see where are my enemies, where are my resources. This is particularly helpful, doesn't cost a whole lot of resources. I will show you how that works in a second. Let's first get a team to this map, because right now there is no team on this map. To do that, I just click on any tile, I click on the middle button, and then I have to select one team to go there. This team is currently in the Star Language world. Let's get it back to the Sanctuary. Let's select it. I could now edit this team, by the way, because it's now in the Sanctuary Fortress. Now I would have the option to edit this team to, for example, add soldiers to this team. We can do that, then we can save the lineup, there's no problem. And then I can get the lineup back. Action points 4 will be consumed to bring it here, and now it is in this map. It is also selected as the default team. This is something that you definitely want to do. Whenever you go into the map, just click on this team right here. It's selected as your default team then, and this allows you to use this button to instantly move to a position. It's way easier than first of all using this button, selecting the team, and then going there. It's just a little bit faster and will save you some time on the day. So, right now we can see the only resources really obtainable in this map are the dark iron at those gathering spots. There we see a gathering spot for jade fruit, and we can now, for example, obtain dark iron pretty easily. We just move to the position, click on dark iron, click on gather, select the team we want to have gather there, and once we select this option, this team will actually start to gather dark iron here. The rate is determined right here as a speed of 30 per 5 minutes, and we will now gather here for 20 hours. You won't have to engage with it anymore. You don't have to be close to this position or anything. You can still use your team, but this is how you obtain basic resources. They are always at like one of those positions on the map, and you can find them pretty easily and just collect them via gathering. So, that being said, how do you get the advanced resources? Well, the advanced resources are obtained by a structure called the collector. To build a collector, we will have to click on our ship, and then we have different things that we can build. It's also the way you build lighthouses, by the way. Just make sure you spread out your lighthouses over the map. You can only build 10 of them. If I now try to build a collector, it will actually deny me from it. It will say map exploration requirement is not met. And the reason this is the case is because we have max exploration progress of 92%. This has to indeed be 100%, and we have to have beaten the boss. To further amplify or to progress your map exploration progress, they're still weird to me that it's your progress. Okay. You will have to defeat enemies. We have two kinds of enemies, both visible right here. First of all, the blue one, they are a bit easier, provide less loot and provide less map exploration progress. And then we have the purple variant, which is more difficult, but also grants you more loot and more map exploration progress. Usually, if you're strong enough, you want to focus on the purple ones, because you only have a limited amount of attacks during a day. It's 10 plus another 5 that you can buy for 200 diamonds each. And we have quite some purple ones. The red ones are all purple spheres, so we have quite some of those. And we want to get to 100%, so let's do exactly that. Let's get some progress going, and we will do some attacks. I will show you maybe even one attack with my team. We will use the default team, which makes it easier because we just selected that. We'll go over here, and hopefully it shows the fight. Sometimes this is buggy and doesn't really work out. Yeah, for me they are not that difficult. I heard from some people though that some of you really struggle with the lower maps even. So depends, you will have to get a certain bit of power to go through there. And some of those guys have very mean abilities. They are very, very strong. You can see this fight actually cost me some of the warriors. They are not unlimited. Contribution is increased by 100, and we even on this map got some sublimation materials, only 20 though. So it's not really a huge amount, but yeah, it's definitely possible. We are now at 94%. Let's quickly, through skip battle, engage with the other spheres so that we get to 100%. This is now 97. Let's search for the next one. You can see how quickly this works if you have the map uncovered like I do with lighthouses. Just for the lighthouse positioning, maybe so you know about it. You can see they are pretty evenly spread around the map so that we get pretty good coverage of all the areas. So now we're at 99%. I will still want to make sure that we hit a purple one, just because that's more loot. Now the boss has invaded, we can see that. Boss is always at the same coordinates. It's always the middle coordinates. That is in fact 0, 0. That is the middle of the map. He's a little bit hidden there because I built a lighthouse right next to him. Okay, let's move to this position. And the way this works now with the boss is, the boss has different camps. It's like the Iron Oak Watchtower. When you defeat that, you actually reduce the abilities of the boss. There are different abilities that we have. We can take 30% HP and 20% attack off him with this. And you can always see the boss, the buff that is here. So if you struggle with the boss, maybe defeat this first and make it a little bit easier. If you don't really care about it, well, you can just attack. We can, I think we take the 20%, yeah, we take the buffs off him. This is pretty easy to do, so bam. Skip that one. Yeah, it was quite the easy fight, and now we should see that the boss is a little bit more easy. Doesn't have this buff anymore, still has this one. We won't skip battle, but oftentimes I have to say it doesn't quite work. Yeah, and now we are in this position where, well, basically the fight didn't appear yet. I had this problem sadly quite often. We didn't defeat him. If we now attack again, the first fight will appear, which is quite strange. So this should have taken care of it, yeah, and now we should see the first fight. No, it's the second one actually. Okay, the boss was nearly dead. Yeah, the boss is quite mean. The boss features usually a lot of stuns, so you kind of want to make sure you have PDE maybe, or you at least have Control Purify, but also at the same time you saw he has 2 abilities to inflict damage over time, so can be quite mean in that regard as well. Yeah, and I don't know, this guy has a very long animation. They're fairly tanky, but I sent a team in there with no artifacts as well, so yeah, cost me a fight. Should probably have a better equipment for this, I'll be honest, but they don't allow presets, so I get kind of lazy with it. Yeah, those two won't do anything for the remainder of the fight, I reckon. You can see major damage by LFA, still very, very helpful. The boss loot, not that great. And yeah, that was it with the boss. Boss is now defeated, we can see that. And what that allows us to do, as I said, it allows us to now build a collector. And this collector, we can build it wherever. On a normal map, it doesn't matter. We will check out expanse in a second, and there it is quite important. There we see it, there is the collector, and now we start collecting those resources passively. Pure barrel and mysterious skeleton are collected right now. Keep in mind, a collector is only active for 8 hours. So after those 8 hours are passed, you will have to build another one. It won't be enough to go with one collector to acquire all of those resources. Another thing that you can do to keep this map, because this map will actually go away in 81 hours, is to build an anchor. If you build an anchor, which we can do, costs 10,000 those. It's pretty expensive. Once you build an anchor, and we've done that, and you wait 12 hours, what will actually happen is this map will become anchored. We will have it right here, and we will have access to this map. This can be interesting because usually during the time you have in before this wave arrives, you will not have enough time to acquire all of the special resources in this map. And this map will stay at 100. So for example, we have the Permafrost Mountains. This is one of the major, or the only ways right now that I have to get access to the resources that I need. So if I build a collector here, which I should have done before, I can get access to Icebound Heart. I can get access to Mysterious Skeleton. This map is sadly nearly depleted, but it's one of the only maps that I found for now that had Icebound Heart in there. So still a pretty good map, and that's why I kept it. Once this is empty, I will probably have to unanchor it and get rid of this map because it will be useless by that point. So that being said, expanse maps, let's talk about those. Expanse maps are a little bit different. They feature multiple resources as well. And in this map right now, we are at 91%. And this is PvP. There are other players on this map. You can see it's a lot bigger. Other players are on this map. They can fight you. They can attack you. They can also stop your teams from gathering resources, and they can also destroy your light towers. They will, but at the same time, the map exploration progress is shared between everybody. So if they attack like a purple enemy, they will also add to the map exploration progress, and eventually there will be a boss, and you can also build collectors here. There is one additional building that you can have, and this is like your own little stronghold. And what this stronghold basically do is it will protect your buildings. So this tower, and if I start gathering here, my army basically that gathers there will be protected by this fortress as long as a ship is close to it. You can see this ship is now positioned in there. It is in the stronghold city gate. We can move it around. Garrison we should probably move. We can give it different buffs. We have it in the city gates where there is 12% all damage reduction as buff. You can also go for dodge offset or something else. And the enemy now has to go to the fortress and defeat that before he can hinder me from collecting resources or destroy my watchtower. So that is something to keep in mind. You build the fortress in the same way you build everything else. Front stronghold is there as an additional building on expanse maps. Expanse maps also usually have a pretty good resource gain, 30 per 5 minutes, and are fairly interesting in that regard. So that is what I mostly wanted to say about expanse maps. They are a bit better than Tableland, but of course there is competition, so you might have some setbacks when trying to collect resources there. But in the other regard, they feature the same things. You can also have an anchored sanctuary map, is no problem, or you can have like the normal maps that you have in there. So beyond that, something else, Star Language World, was recently uncovered, but because we now make this video and we now have access to it, I want to talk about it a little bit and want to tell you guys the info that we have about it. The Star Language World is a little bit difficult to access. It is very difficult to access. In fact, most players won't have access to it. The way you do it is you have to have a hero at Destiny rank 6 with Lifestar unlocked, and you have to enhance this Lifestar to at least level 12. At that point, when you try to level up, you will see a new planet appear here, which is called Task Progress. And this Task Progress will tell you to go to the Star Language World. You then can enter the Star Language World by clicking Go. Mine is, of course, already unlocked. We just took the last, my team away from this map. We should probably take it back. I had the LFA team on this, so we will take this back to this map. And this map is special in the regard that we have other opponents on here. We have stronger opponents on here, and we have severely more loot. The loot is way more interesting. We saw the loot before from the other areas. We got like 20 sublimation materials, and that was a level 5 map. We can compare it now to the purple one, and we will see it's 4,800 polymer essence, 320 stellar shards. We get 90 essence sublimation. We get the teammates, in fact 60, and we even get star soul upgrading materials, which are fairly interesting and fairly good. The only thing that is still a bit strange about those maps, you can't really build buildings. I don't know why this is the case. Like, even if I move somewhere else, I really can't build buildings. And I have no idea why that is the case, but currently this is the way it is, and we'll have to live with it. If we fight those guys, we can do maybe like a fight without skip battle, use the default team, attack them. Yeah, it doesn't work. It's still bugged on multiple areas. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But maybe one way to get through this map is you can actually mark those guys. And this is what I did right here. Always try to mark the next opponent so that I can find them more easily. And the way you do this is you just click the button here and we'll be in chat. Maybe we can try to attack this guy. Does this work? No, just vanishes. Okay. And like this, I basically find the opponents that I want to fight, and you can gather and do everything the same here as well. If I don't use the default team, maybe. Do we have the option to attack? Does it work? No. No, we don't. I don't know, guys. Okay. You can buy 5 more. Usually I do that, but I have infinite gems, so it is just different for me. On this map, you will kind of have to explore a little bit and see what happens. One more thing to note, if you have a Lifestar hero, there is the option to actually use a skill you have a lifestyle support skill. And for my charm skill on my LFA, this is actually right here. You have to click this big button and you get to the skill, assist skill, and then you can target this skill on an enemy. For the charm skill, the way it works is basically it is a one-shot kill on one of those mobs. And it will actually also grant you 25% more resources. As far as I know, I think it doesn't progress your exploration progress though. It's still quite good if you wanna like just get an easy one shot on an enemy and get some extra loot from it. It can be quite nice. We also saw the 30 per 5 minutes on the expanse map. It's 44 here, so bit of a difference. I actually will mark this pure snowflake here. Let's make use of the skill quite quickly. We'll one-shot some blues, get ourselves some easy loot, and there's even some spiritual essence in there, some crystal of transcendence and everything. So eventually we will get all of the loot just with the skill and with just progressing the map and building collectors. What the collector gives us in this map, this is still something we'll have to explore. But now you understand the general concept of this map and how you can get easy loot, and got some tips as well to just get some more stuff going. We should probably mark this guy. And this is all I had for this video. Tell me what you think about this game mode in the comments down below. I think DH has some improving to do, but it's certainly one of the more interesting game modes. I still have had some higher expectations when I first saw it. I thought there were some more interesting bosses, but we're still not really in the end game of it. Some people already found the T-mats and other resources in the normal maps outside of the Star Language world, but Star Language world certainly is, for now, for me, the most interesting part, the biggest amount of loot that we can find. So with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.